A very good morning to you. How are you doing? I hope that you are happy, you're blessed. Karibu sana. This is MBCI TV ambapo tunabadilisha maisha by the grace of God. And the show on the air is Afya Clinic. One of the shows that is very important because you get to learn about your health. And as we always say, that your health is very important. The many things that you should make sure you really look after this life, and one of them is your health. And so today we're here to talk about a very important topic that I will be introducing in a very short while. But for now, I'd like to know how your week has been. What are you thanking God for? Since the last time we were here on Wednesday, there's so much that has happened, but also I know there's so much that God has done for you. And so I'd like to know through our numbers, what are you thanking God for? What are you grateful for? Unatuwatch kutoka wapi? Unatuwatch na kina nani? And for that, our numbers are very open. That is 0721 105 105 on WhatsApp or all our digital platforms at MBCI TV. Now, we're happy to have you today. Today we'll be having a very amazing conversation. And today we're talking about autism. And this is because April is Autism Awareness Month. Now, on the 2nd of April, we had an Autism Awareness Day that happens every 2nd of April annually. And so this year we had worldwide a day where people just speak about autism to make sure that we are raising awareness, because we still have stigma around this particular topic. And, there's so much to speak about, and the whole of April we continue doing this. And so we said today we'll be talking about that. So if you have any question around the same, please feel free to ask. But before we start and get into the conversation and I introduce to you the guests that are having in studio today, we'll be having something that we call the In History segment that allows you just to know what autism is and to give you a brief history of autism. I'll be your host for today. My name is Rachel Kahugu. We'll be having this conversation up to 9 in the AM. For now, let's get into the In History segment.
Autism can be traced back in the early 20th century, though the understanding of the condition has evolved significantly over time. The term autism was first coined by Swiss psychiatrist Eugen Beller in 1911, initially used to describe symptoms of schizophrenia characterized by social withdrawal and a focus of inner thoughts. However, it wasn't until 1943 that the modern understanding of autism began to take shape, when American psychiatrist Leo Kanner published a recognition on his seminal paper on early infantile autism. Kanner described a group of children with distinct social difficulties, repetitive behaviors, and communication challenges, marking the first of autism as a unique development disorder. In the 1960s and 1970s, autism was widely regarded as a rare condition, with many psychologists attributing its causes to poor parenting, particularly the notion of refrigerator mothers, a term popularized by psychiatrist Bruno Bettelheim. This idea was eventually debunked, but it held sway for several decades, further stigmatizing families of children with autism. During the 1980s, research began to focus more on neurological and genetic aspects of autism, and the first edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders (DSM) included autism as a distinctive disorder, officially recognizing it within the broader category of childhood psychosis. By the early 20th and early 21st centuries, scientific understanding of autism expanded significantly, with advances in neurobiology, genetics, and diagnostic practices. The rise of advocacy groups and increased public awareness helped shift the conversation away from misconception about autism causes towards recognizing it as a spectrum disorder with varying degrees of severity and manifestation. Today, autism is understood to have complex genetics and environmental factors, with ongoing research into early intervention methods, the neurodiversity movement, and the promotion of acceptance and inclusion for individuals on the autism spectrum.
All right, we are back, and now you have a rundown of what we are talking about today. I know that you now understand autism. It's now not a new word altogether. As we said before, is that today we'll be talking about autism, and April is Autism Awareness Month. On the 2nd of April, we celebrated autism just to talk about it and to allow everyone to know what exactly autism is. As you've heard from the In History segment, this is not a disease. It does not need to be treated. and I know we'll be getting to know more about it, but something that is very important for us to know, autism is unfortunately quite common than we might think. Autism Society of Kenya did statistics this year. 1 of every 25 people currently in Kenya could have autism. And autism is a spectrum from the very low or mild condition that you would hardly notice to the autism that you could clearly tell this is autism. And to help us understand exactly what that is, we have just the right person for it. Now, my guest in studio today is a lady that you've had not once, not twice, and today we're very happy to have her, because every time we have her in studio, we don't just talk about autism. Of course, mostly have her here talking about autism, but we end up talking about life in general. We talk about faith. We talk about so many things because she's a lady who carries a lot. And I'll just do a brief introduction and then she'll introduce herself. Sawa sawa. Now, today we are having Judy Kagure Ligaga. Judy is a pastor. To start with, she is a woman of God, a powerful woman of God, currently lead pastor at Victor's Chapel, Nakuru City. She's also the chairperson of Faraja Initiative Organization. She's the director of Comfort Christian Schools, and she is championing autism awareness. She's also a caregiver to a beautiful child who has autism, and we'll be talking about that. So if you'd like to know more about autism, if you'd be having any questions around the same conversation, please feel free to ask through our WhatsApp number 0721 105 105 or through our digital platforms on MBCI TV. Now, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You have so many hats. How do you handle all of that?
God's grace.
I didn't mention you're also a wife.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you are a lot. You're a mentor,
yes,
and a mom to so many people.
Oh, yeah.
Not only a beautiful girl, you have so many things you're doing.
We thank God for His grace.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you for sparing time to be with us on this conversation today.
Thank you for having me.
I know this is a conversation that is very close to your heart.
Yes.
And you have taken the initiative to educate people about autism and to make sure that they actually understand what autism is.
Yes.
We've interacted before, but for the people who are seeing you for the very first time,
yes,
please introduce yourself, let them know who you are, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. As Rachel has already said, my name is Judy Kagure Ligaga. I'm a wife, I'm married, I'm a mother of 2 girls, and above everything else, I'm a believer, I'm born again. Yes, as she has said, I'm a pastor. I also direct and run a learning institution called Comfort Christian Schools. And for the matters of today, I am, by the grace of God, chairing an organization called Faraja Initiative, whose mandate is just to create awareness, to bring inclusion and acceptance, and also to support caregivers and persons living with autism to be able to just have a meaningful life and to bring hope above everything else. As we preach Christ, Him crucified and risen, we speak hope in every situation. So I'm glad to be here this morning, even as we have this conversation.
Yeah. Karibu sana.
Asante.
We're happy to have you today.
Thank you so much.
We'll get into the depth of the conversation.
Yes.
Maybe for a start, for the people who are hearing autism for the very first time, in layman's language, what is autism?
In layman's language, we would just say autism is a neurodevelopmental condition. And when touch neuro, it means autism is just the way somebody's brain is wired. You know, in just layman's language, how a person's brain looks on the inside may present now on the outside as the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And when we say spectrum, it means every person that has been diagnosed or would get diagnosed with autism would look different. Their brain will work differently, but the condition is termed as autism, but they will function in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually just a brain functional issue.
Okay.
Yes.
And you've said it's a condition.
Yes.
And I like to emphasize this. It is not a disease.
Yes, it is not a disease. It is the way somebody's brain functions. So meaning it's not something we can take a tablet and it is gone.
Yeah.
Because it's the way that child was formed in the mother's womb. Psalm 139 verse 14, fearfully and wonderfully made. And
Love that.
their life was wired that way.
Yeah.
And so when they began to live here on earth, they will show us how wonderful and fearfully they've been created. So they will present in a way that we may not understand, but it's not something that we can give them a tablet and say this stops. But what happens is, depending on how a child presents or the challenges the child is having, what we do is to make sure they have a meaningful life. So we help deal with the issues that they could be facing to make them more comfortable, not to change them, but to make them more comfortable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So does that mean that we'd have like 2 or 3 people who have autism, but how they present is totally different?
Oh yes. Just the same way me and you, Rachel, are here and we have our thumbs. That's the way autism is. The way your thumbprint and mine is different. That's the same way people with autism present.
Okay.
There is no one person that presents exactly same like another. That is why we now, even because you see in medicine, we have bracket treatment. We say, okay, it's malaria, so we do this level of antibiotic 5 times a week and blah, blah, blah. So with autism, because everyone presents differently, we cannot say that one shoe fits all. So even in supporting, that's where now people need to, we come to the place of understanding, because every person with autism will need a different support system. Yes.
Okay. Now, from the statistics that we saw, is that 1 of every 25 people have autism. And I tend to think that's a huge number.
Yes, it is.
Yes, that's a huge number of people. And while you were speaking, before we got on air, you said that if you're a teacher and your class has, say, 25 people, you could almost be sure that 1 of the 25 is in the spectrum. So maybe very mild, you don't know. But 1 of every 25 could be having autism. What is the cause of autism? Why are we having so many people having autism?
I think for those of us that have looked at the in history segment, you can tell there has been a lot of evolving or a lot of growth in terms of understanding the condition and in terms of trying to define it and to make diagnosis. So what I'm beginning to tell myself as we see the numbers rising, I am thinking because of the work of advocacy that has gone into our nation, and that has brought people into a place of awareness. We are having more people now come into the maybe doctors' clinics and have the diagnosis done. And then as people are continuing to have their diagnosis done and accepting that this is it, then they are continuing to put in their names into the statistics. So what I am thinking is that it's not that it could be on the rise. I think what could be happening, it could be that people are now more aware. So the researchers are getting more statistics. The government is getting to see more statistics because currently, even as we register with the National Council of People Living with Disability, we actually now even have a segment where you can actually specify that your child is autistic. Before then, there was just a bracket segment of either mental disorder or something like that. But now we have that segment that you can actually specify it is actually autism. So there could be also an increase in the numbers, maybe because of the different things, we never know, but for me I feel like this is a personal view, like the awareness and people coming in for diagnosis has helped the statistic put the finger to the numbers.
That makes a lot of sense. Now this is where Faraja comes in. You're the chairperson of Faraja Initiative, which is very big on autism awareness. Maybe just take us through what you do and what Faraja Initiative is.
Faraja Initiative, to start with the name, Faraja is actually my daughter, and the organization came in place as the journey we work. Currently, she'll be 10 this year.
10 years?
Yeah, she'll be 10 this year.
Oh, wow.
And the diagnosis came, I think, when she was about 3. So it's been like 7 years of just trying to understand autism and what is autism, how do you handle it. And through my personal journey and the challenges that I went through, I just figured out how many more people are there. Maybe for me, I'm able to access some things and some other people are not able to. So with this and a few other friends, we just came together and said, why don't we just go into the community and get to see how to support either persons with autism or caregivers that are raising children with autism. So that's how Faraja was born. So our main goal was actually to go out and create awareness. Number two, to go out and educate so that we can have inclusion in public spaces, because we do a lot of speaking either in churches, in schools, just to try and create an inclusive community. I think that's our major goal, to just try and create an inclusive community, to go out there and let people know these people are here, and actually they can be within our community and we can allow them to function. Then we also do a lot of support in terms of also learning, in giving advice to like channeling the caregivers to the right education spaces, treatment spaces, therapy spaces, where we go out of our way to see who is offering the best service, who is understanding the spectrum in a certain area of service, so we are able to direct caregivers. So we are more like a hub of help. Like a parent could have a diagnosis done, then they don't know where to start, and then they say, okay, this diagnosis was done, where do I start? Then we would simply say, okay, go to this place, go to this place. So we kind of work like a support system for both persons with autism and also caregivers, to just be able to help them. And then of course we also go down, because there are some caregivers that even financially they are not able. Even putting food on the table is a challenge. Buying diapers is a challenge. So with the help of many people that come in to be part of our donors and sponsors, we sometimes carry drives, like we just go and hand out food, hand out diapers, just to ease the burden.
That's very beautiful.
Yes.
I think it's an initiative that's out there to help mothers and caregivers, as you said, and you're doing such a beautiful job.
We thank God.
You're doing such a beautiful job.
We thank God.
Now, you've mentioned that Faraja, you realized that she had autism at the age of 3.
Yes.
I know for many people they'd ask, at what age would you be able to see some of the symptoms of autism?
As early as 18 months, because some at the place of maybe even earlier, because one of the earliest, here comes again another defining line, because of the fact that autism is a spectrum. There are some children that the early signs would show early in terms of even at the point of where we are trying to see if a child has eye contact. At that age, we are 6 months, 18, 1 year, trying to see the way if a child is going to follow your finger, if they are looking at you, because that is one of the early signs where a child may not have eye contact, but for some. Then others, we come all the way to 18 months when speech begins. Sometimes you realize the first word has delayed. And others, it will come maybe all the way to the age of 3, because actually most of the diagnosis below the age of 3, or as the children are approaching 3 years, that's when now you can clearly tell something could be amiss. It could be a delay in speech. It could be a challenge in socialization. You find like by the time a child is 2 years, their second birthday, they kind of interact with people. They kind of have the idea that people are around me. But you find some children at that point, if they're on the spectrum, they don't care who is around. They ignore. You call their name, you think they're not aware. You put them in a crowd of children, they will pull out. So when the socializing part of a child reaches and you discover they're tending to keep to themselves, that could also be an early sign. But now it is different for different children, because like for mine, I could not see any sign up until a condition, another thing came up, and then the signs now were more clear that there is autism, because she was born, grew well, went to school. By 24 months, she was already in playgroup, and she was doing well until after
could speak?
And she could speak and interact.
Okay.
But then at 2 years, 6 months or so, she began to have a twitch, like on her left side, which now I later came to learn is called, it's a seizure disorder, which graduated later to full-blown seizures, like epileptic seizures. And from there, now that's when I began to think, something is not adding up. So we went for scans, then we had a brain surgery. Then shortly after the brain surgery and the recovery is when now the signs, her speech went out completely. And then she began to have nights of not sleeping, like sleep was such a big challenge. And then she began to get very irritable. She would not sleep for hours, and then she would cry and cry and cry. You put her on your back, she's crying. And then that uncontrollable crying continued. And then shortly after, I began to notice she's banging her, she's having swinging movement. When she sits on a sofa, she will swing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So as we were doing, actually the diagnosis came in as we were just doing follow-up clinics after surgery. You know the way now you go to the doctor, you're like, hey doctor, I am noticing this, I'm noticing this. And then boom, they give us a diagnosis. And then at that point I'm thinking, autism? Okay, what do you mean? Like when did we move from correcting the seizures with the surgery to autism? And I think the question I asked the doctor for quite some time was like, just explain to me, was it there or has it come now? And then the other day, I think we were looking back with the dad, and we realized like there were traces that we never saw. And hers was not on the extreme, because we were reminded of a trip we took. And in this particular trip, she did not sit at all for a flight, I think, of 4 hours. She was on the plane walking up and down.
For 4 hours?
Yeah. And we,
it's a long time.
So you see now we did not know about it. So we are thinking, now it's when we are thinking, oh, she was overstimulated, she couldn't sit. That's why she looked like she's enjoying it, but she was trying to deal with the whole setup. And so the traces could have been there from birth. It's only that we miss them. And most of the children also, some children, a percentage of the children on the spectrum also have the seizure disorders. So by the time we are getting the seizure disorders, it means there could have been something from birth, but we never got to see it.
Okay. And that is where we now talk about the spectrum. Where we say we have kids with very mild autism. Something that you couldn't notice araka. And then you have the extreme. What are we looking at when we talk about the extreme?
We may not say, where there are 3 levels. And the first, there could be the level where you're saying, like the way we mentioned that a class of 25, one could be on the spectrum, but because they don't require support as much, it could pass. Then the other type is where a child would just require mild support. Like they will need you to say something twice. They will need you, if you teach something, you need to repeat it a couple of times. And then maybe they could have a challenge with lighting or with sound, but if that is taken care of, they can function. Then we have the other one that will need total support of a caregiver. They cannot walk out in public by themselves. They will need guidance in terms of danger. They are not aware. Maybe their toileting is very, very delayed. Like toilet training is very delayed. And even if they were in a school setting, they may not be able to function without total support of a caregiver. So that's how it is. And when we may not say that this is extreme autism, we term it as how much support does a child need. That's what determines, because there is one who will be like you and me. I could be autistic right now and we can have this conversation because I am able to deal with my overloads. I'm able to have conversation. My brain is not as overwhelmed as another person who may need, maybe before we have this conversation, allow me to fidget, give me a fidgeting tool. Is like, give me like something to press on, to like more of like anxiety. So the determination of the level is on what level of support does somebody require.
There's someone who gave a very good example, and I'm just remembering it as you're explaining. And he said it's like twins. You're born from the same womb at the same time. You literally grew together, but you're two completely different human beings. You know, it's that you're my sister, we're probably identical, but what I like, you don't. What I enjoy, you don't. I mean, what? You guys are you're twins. What do you mean? Yeah, so I get what you're saying. Now, I understand that our time is quite running. But one of the things I'd like for us to speak about boldly today is the myths.
Yes.
The myths around autism, because I know that is one of the reasons why we have the Autism Awareness Month.
Yes.
And the 2nd of April, which is a day where people speak about autism loudly and boldly.
Yes.
And, you know, just tell people about autism and make sure that tunamaliza hii stigma, kwa sababu it's sad that we still have the stigma around autism.
Way years back, yeah.
But let's take a look at some of the myths around autism, and maybe even before we get the mythbusters. Yenye watu bado wanasema ni uchawi. Tell us about it. In fact, look at your camera and tell them about it.
Well, that one for Uchawi has really been a big myth and a big challenge. It borders from, okay, it starts with, depending with which part of the nation you come from, it will start with, ni kama mtoto aliangaliwa na jicho mbaya venye alizaliwa na ndio maana this is happening. Then it could also border, hawako wanataka upate kijana ama hawako wanataka upate msichana, that is why they have bewitched the child. Or then it could come to the other myths of, like, if you're in a marriage setting, they will say it's because you have not done 1, 2, 3, that is why this child is like this. And then if you have gotten a child as a single mother, they might go like, oh, it's like that because you have gotten a child out of wedlock. This is what I want to say. There is nothing witchcraft when it comes to autism. And that is why I keep my stand on Psalm 139 verse 14. Because every child is fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And there is no child that God made to be waste or to be not functional here on earth. And actually the theme for this year, Autism Awareness Month, is every life has value, meaning these children has value. So how you, what usually also happens because of denial, we would like to link it with spirituality so that we pacify our denying that it's not there. So I want to say autism has nothing to do with witchcraft. It has nothing to do with what you did or you did not do. Has nothing to do with, oh, you as a mother, you have done wrong, so God is punishing you, or the devil is out to get your child. There is nothing like that. It is just the way your child is wired. And guess what? That child is a gift. The Bible says that children are gifts. And because he's a gift, he is a gift, the earlier you accept that, the better for that child and yourself, because you're going to make many opportunities available for this gift so that she or he can manifest what God desired for that child.
I love that. All right, I mean, that's it. Let's take a look at other mythbusters. Sitaki kuongezea anything hapo. You have said it very well.
Thank you.
Now, the other mythbuster that we'll be looking at today is that autism is caused by vaccines. Maybe let's start with, do we have vaccines for autism?
Vaccines for autism? No, we don't have.
And is autism caused by vaccines? Any vaccines?
Not that I'm aware of, but it's a myth that has gone on, saying if the people have even tried to group children, all those children that were born at this point in time are the ones that have more, the diagnosis of these children born from this year to this year, so there must have been a vaccine. I would say it's just a way of people trying to figure out what's happening. And for me, I feel like it's just a way of trying to pacify or to deal with denial. So we say there must be a reason. There must be a cause. Okay. And the second mythbuster that you have today is that people with autism don't feel emotions. Do they? They do. They do. They feel emotions. They are happy. They get sad. They get angry. They get agitated. And let me just warn you, if you have one around you that is nonverbal, meaning they do not speak in speech and word, but they can hear, please don't say things around them thinking they don't understand. They understand everything, even if they cannot speak it out. And they also, the people with autism are people who have learned they have the power of the Holy Ghost. The sixth sense is very high. They can tell if you like them or you don't. You don't have to say it. They can tell.
And I think they're also very, very smart.
Very smart, yes, they are.
I think they're very, very, very smart.
They are smart to be able to live with us guys on this earth and just look at us and go like, look at these people. They're smart.
They are. All right. The third one is that autism can be cured.
We already agreed that it's not a disease.
Yeah, it's not a disease.
Yeah, so what are we curing?
It's not a disease.
Yeah.
All right, and the other one is that all people with autism are geniuses.
I would say there's a percentage of a spectrum that has a very high IQ, but not all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a percentage that has very high IQ, very smart, but not all. But what I can say is that most autistic persons are gifted. Yeah.
They are.
They are gifted.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. I just watched one today sing, and oh my God,
Yes.
they are gifted.
Yeah.
All right, the other one is that children with autism cannot go to school.
This is one I'm trying to demystify and to shout at the top of my voice.
Yes.
Children with autism can go to school, can study, can achieve academically.
Yeah.
Some that are not able to achieve academically can achieve in terms of skill, in terms of capacity. You can build their capacity to function in the line that they are gifted in. So let us give autistic persons a chance to go to school, to go to a training center, to go to a space that they can be trained to do something. That's a myth that has really been very, especially in the past, it was very magnified, and we've had some autistic persons just live life, and by the time the parents are discovering the child is 25, 30, yet they would have been channeled in a way that they would have come out with something great.
Yeah.
So let's demystify that and take them to schools. If they are older and they need to be in vocational training colleges, please let's do that. It's possible to have them do something.
Yeah. It's very important. All right, and the other one is that people with autism don't want friends.
No, people with autism want friends.
Yeah.
It's us that don't know how to relate with them. They are very friendly. It's only that because of the communication challenge, sometimes they are not able to express themselves towards the people maybe they want to be friends with, but they desire friends. Like now I would see sometimes when we go with my daughter somewhere and she sees a group of children, I can see her eyes, the way she's going like, I want to go and play with them. But now she may not be able to tell them, I want to play with you. So what she will do, she will run where the children are, and then she will try and tap and then run, so trying to tell them, run after me. Yeah, they want friends and they like making friends. The challenge they have is our environment does not interpret their wanting to have friends as friendship, because sometimes you might find they will be in a public place and a child may run off from the caregiver, or even a big, let's say a young adult who is autistic may run off from a caregiver and run and grab someone. That will be so misinterpreted, and some of them have gotten into trouble. Somebody thinking you're trying to mug me, or if it's a boy trying to grab a girl, it could go all the way the other side. Yet the boy was just thinking, can we play, can we run, can we do this yourself? So they do want to make friends. We just need to interpret their language.
I think that's a very important point.
Yes.
Being able to interpret their language, because how they speak and how they do things is a bit different.
Very different.
But they're trying to communicate.
Exactly.
They're actually trying to say, hey, can we be friends?
Exactly.
Can we play? So how you treat them, how you respond to what they do, very important.
Very important.
I'd like to think in general how you respond to anyone is very important.
Very key.
Not only people in the spectrum, because you won't immediately tell, oh, you're on the spectrum, so let me treat you differently. Is that treat everyone very well. Hiyo maneno ya treat watu vile unataka actually.
Like especially, I think I would say just extend kindness to everyone. Do not be quick to judge. Just give me a 2, 3, 4 minutes, then you get to see whether I am weird or not.
Yes, because you could actually be weird. But most are not.
Yes, most are not.
So, treat people well. Be someone else's Bible, as we said. All right, and the last myth, Pastor, that we have is that autism is rare. Is it? We said 1 of 25
I
people.
don't think it's rare. I think it's quite common nowadays.
It is.
And,
it is,
and I think that's why we just need to, as we said, we are moving now to inclusion and acceptance, because we are aware it's there. So I think it's each individual, depending on, like you, Rachel, what you do here. I'm looking forward, God will help us to have on set somebody that is autistic, and we just get to see, because we want to create our environment to fit them. They are not friendly, but you could do it in a simple way. Just even if you just put up a hotel and then you give us a dining space and you say this is autistic friendly. We know when you go there, the waitresses will understand when our children decide to pull things off the table and stuff like that.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you've learned in your journey of caregiving? A lesson that you'd want to share with people who don't have an experience of caregiving?
I think my biggest lesson is that you are your child's best advocate, and you have to be bold, courageous, and never ever give up. You cannot give up. Some days are very bad. Bad meaning you woke up, the child does not want to do anything, or they're crying, or they're having meltdowns, you do not know what to do. Sometimes as a mother, you will just take a breather, go to the washroom, sit on the toilet seat, say, God, how am we going to make it today? Then get out, pick it up, and move on. So as a caregiver, you are the best advocate for your child. You are the only one actually who can make everybody else understand what your child can and cannot do. And then do not allow anyone to talk you out of something you think your child can do. Just keep going. Never give up. Never ever give up.
You can't give up.
You cannot. I think that is it. You can never give up. Yes.
Okay. Have you been able, I think it's a very thin line. In between holding your child, isolating them, and overexposing them. Because you know the extent your child can go, but you also know you can't isolate them, because they love to interact and they want to interact, but you also know hapa sasa itakuwa, it's not a very good space for them as well. How do you draw the balance?
I think number one is once you get to learn your child's triggers, we call them triggers. For example, you get to know noises are a challenge, bright lights are a challenge, certain smells, textures are a challenge. As now, that's the other thing as a caregiver, you are like, you become almost like a doctor. You can tell, at this point, this sign, this one is going to end like this. So you're very alert. What you do so that you do not continue to put them in spaces that are very uncomfortable for them, if there is something, if there is a space you feel they need to be in, but it is uncomfortable, you gently start. For example, let me give an example. Sometimes shopping in supermarkets can be very chaotic for most of our children, and for different reasons. For some, it's the way the lighting of a supermarket looks. For others, it's the different smells. For others, it's the crowding of the people on the lanes. For others, it's the way the lanes are, looking like you have to walk on a street. It depends. And so when you learn what it is that is a challenge for your child, and then in your mind you make up that I would want them to be familiar with the supermarket setting, you begin to learn how to introduce them to those spaces, so that it's not overwhelming. For our children, most of the places that we publicly take them, you introduce slowly. You go, first time it may not even work. You may not even go beyond the door. But you keep giving the story, you keep explaining, and you keep using things that they understand. Because our children communicate, even those that are nonverbal meaning they cannot speak the way you and I are speaking, but they communicate. You can use pictures, maybe you begin to give a story. If it's supermarket, you say, you know, we go to buy, if they like bread, you use that. You say, you know, we buy bread in the supermarket. So tomorrow we will go buy bread. So let the picture of the bread stay in their mind. Then bring the picture of the supermarket, then walk there. So you introduce those spaces slowly, meaning there is no one time you will overexpose them, because you know what is what triggers them. You will walk with them slowly to those spaces.
That's makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Now, for the people who are watching us today and they just received the news that their children or their siblings are on the spectrum, or even their friends, and they're just processing the news. Because this is a personal story to you, what would be your word to them, or what would you tell them?
An autism diagnosis is not a death sentence. An autism diagnosis is a beautiful way to begin looking at life. Because once you receive an autism diagnosis, your shifts and your mind and the way you look at life and things in life completely changes. Because when we serve food, it's no longer just food.
Yeah.
When we walk into a space, it's not just walking into a space. So what I would say is, number one, do not get scared. Do not fear. And let me give you hope. There's a lot of help that you can reach to and begin to walk the journey. I would say, thank God you have gotten the diagnosis. Now, you will not need to wonder what is wrong with my child. Yes.
Okay, because now you know.
Yeah, so because you know,
yeah,
then you'll be able now to begin to walk towards helping them and causing them to be who they need to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In your journey, what would you say is one thing you really wish people understood about autism? And now this is inclusively for everyone.
I think what I would wish everybody understood is that it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's okay to be different. Yeah. It is okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. And that just reminded me of us saying that it is not a disease.
Exactly.
It's a condition.
Yeah.
It means that my brain and yours are not the same.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
The same way my thumb, my fingerprint and yours is not the same.
Yes.
And that's fine.
Yes.
We say that diversity sometimes can be beautiful. And so, treat everyone vizuri.
Kabisa.
Yeah, very important. Now, a question that has been asked, because we said it's not a disease, do we talk about early diagnosis?
Yes. Early diagnosis meaning the earlier you get to know if the child is on the spectrum, the better the chances to shape their life. Because if you, I advocate for early diagnosis, meaning if your child is young and number one, you have realized speech has delayed, you've realized when his name is called or her name is called, they are not paying attention. You've also realized they are not socially interacting with peers their age. Please have a pediatrician check you, air your concerns, because early diagnosis means early intervention. And early intervention means most of the life-challenging situations that they could be dealing with can be channeled into the right way early enough, which really does help. Yes.
Okay. And on the same breath, we've had an issue, a very major issue with misdiagnosis, not only for autism, but for, many other conditions.
Yes.
What would help with that?
Misdiagnosis.
Yeah.
Where maybe a child is labeled to be autistic and they are not.
Yeah.
I usually just say time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yes.
Because, that's true.
Because
time
as they continue to grow, then if it's not there, then it's not there.
Yeah.
But now this is the other challenge. Because of denial, we will tend to say their child was misdiagnosed, so we don't take interventions into place, and then the child continues to grow.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to weigh, is it a misdiagnosis or is it that I'm in denial?
Okay.
Yeah, so because actually denial is one of the biggest challenges as caregivers we face, and then we take so much time before we take action into helping the children. So by the time we accept, so much could have been done, yet we didn't do it because we're like, atautgrow. Ni sawa tu, ataongea.
Okay. Now, at Faraja Initiative, the other day you brought the caregivers together, Kawambia, breathe in, have some time, relax, tell us about it, so that if the people would want to join, they'd be able to join as well.
Yeah. On the 3rd of April, we chose to celebrate our Autism Awareness Day with taking a look or taking our eyes off the children just for a day, because we felt, or as a caregiver, I know how burnout can actually affect greatly the mothers and also the fathers. This was amazing. We had wonderful daddies and wonderful mummies that came together, because the care of a child is very, very draining, from the finances to the stress of when things are not going the way you would think. So on 3rd of April, we came together in partnership also with the National Council of People Living with Disability, and we were able to hold what we were calling the Caregivers Unwired event. We had song and dance, we had games, we had a lot of laughter, and of course we did a little beauty pageant catwalking, and we had a Mr. and a Miss Faraja Initiative 2026, just to have them have fun. It was just a time of laughter, a time of breathing in and out. And the reason we did that is that we wanted, because remember our theme this year is that every life has value, and we said for us that even the caregivers matter. And so because they matter, we chose to just give them a good time.
Yeah.
You can join. We have a support group where we actually gather and also discuss and talk about issues, and somebody can also drop a text there. Maybe you're stranded, you're in a certain place and you're wondering which office do I go to, and you can get in touch with us. Yeah. What we do is that we try to direct you to the easiest accessible place and also the most affordable, because finances is also a big challenge when you're taking care of autistic persons. So we are here to support, we are here to listen, we are here to work with you, we are here to tell you it's okay to be different, and we are here to tell you there is a future for your child. Even if your child is a young adult, please don't be afraid. If they have not trained, try and get a place if they can be able to be trained on a skill. It's time for inclusion.
Beautiful. So for the people who would like to join, kindly tell us how they can join the channel and then share your contacts.
Oh yeah, you can reach out to me on 0710 766 836. Then from there we could have a conversation. We can add you on our WhatsApp group, and from there you get to see the events that we prepare, the different trainings, because we have trainings that we do online to help our parents care with different things. If you also need us to do a training within your area, or if there is something you feel you have people that you need to understand more on autism or on communication, you can just reach out and then we can organize how that can happen. Yes.
Okay. Maybe share your number once again.
Or 0710 766 836.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy, for having us, or rather coming today.
Thank you so much.
And sparing your time. With Judy was to travel today, but she said, today I will come and speak about autism.
Thank you.
And so we really appreciate you sparing your time for this particular conversation today. Today we've had Pastor Judy Ligaga. She's the lead pastor at Victor's Chapel, Nakuru City, and also the chairperson of Faraja Initiative, the organization that we've just talked about, doing an amazing job. She is the director of Comfort Christian Schools, and she is championing autism awareness, which I think is very important. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Rachel, for having me, and thank you, NBCI.
Asante.
Thank you.
Powerful. Today we've had such an amazing conversation. Now we'll be getting into the second part, but before we do that, I would like to ask this question. And the question you have today is, have you ever felt misunderstood, and what helped at the moment? Have you ever felt misunderstood at any point in your life, and what helped at the moment? We'll be coming back to read your feedback and also interact with you on matters of autism as we get into our next discussion. And for that, we'd be ready to get your feedback on 0721 105 105 on WhatsApp. 0721 105 105 on WhatsApp. All our digital platforms at MBCI TV, that is on YouTube, on Facebook, and we'll be happy to hear from you. We're live on the comment section. We'll be ready to get your feedback. For now, we'll be taking a break, and as we come back, we'll be coming back with an amazing team. Now, we've talked about Outspan on MBCI TV. We've mentioned them again and again and again and again and again. And now today, we'll be having them on set, and we'll be talking about, mental health, because that's very important, and they'll be telling you about the programs that they have. You'd go there kama umemaliza form 4, ama ulimaliza last year, ama umemaliza 2 years ago, and you're feeling this, I want to do something with my life. Or you've maybe done another course, but then you're thinking, I would like to do something else. There's this course I've been thinking I'd want to do, and now it's time. It's time for me to actually do it. Today, we'll be bringing it karibu na wewe, so that you're able to make that decision and actually enroll. So that's the team that we'll be having after we are out of the break. Others, thank you so much once again, Pastor Judy. Say hi to the team of Victor's Chapel, Nakuru. Wasalimi sana. Say hi to your girls. My goodness, ingekuambia sana kabali. Say hi to you beautiful girls.
I will.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, now you take a very short break. We'll be coming right back. Usiende mbali.